Welcome, pardon me, welcome one and all to Scotch and Smoke Rings, episode 472. I am your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn here as always with my suspender set to maximum stun. And things look a little bit different today. Things look a little bit more HD. Things look a little bit more 1920, 1080. And let's check the volume. 472. And it is. So we'll move on over to there. So, yeah, and that's because I got a brand new camera. And it's about time. It's one of those things where I have been using the exact same camera for a very long time, and it took me a long time to upgrade cameras. If you watch the old episodes of Scotch and Smoke Rings, you'll know that I've never had a good camera. I've been doing this show for 9 years now, and I've never had a good camera. And I upgraded to this smaller one, which I'll show you in a minute. Well, I can show it to you now. I upgraded to this one about 3 years ago, and there was a big bump up in camera quality when I did, but Fallout 76 is coming. And when Fallout 76 comes, I am going to be doing multiple... There we go. I'm going to be doing multiple daily live streams of Fallout 76. And the reason is because I'm not going to be able to do a lot of lore videos right away if I don't know the world. So I have to... It's tricky because before I started making lore videos for Fallout 4, I ran around the Commonwealth. I played through the game once entirely before I started making lore videos, and I knew the world really well. With Fallout 76, I'll be stepping into the world without knowing anything about it that we don't already know, and so I need to take some time to get my bearings, to get my feet wet before I start making videos. And so to do that, I'm going to have to do some live streams. But my setup has never been good. And it's never really mattered because I did the show once a week, and, you know, it was a really small crowd at first. Now it's not. It's not a small crowd now. It used to be, you know, 30 to 70 people would show up. And it was the same 30 to 70 people every single week. And, you know, we got to know each other really well, and I would even have them on the show sometimes. But now there's so many of you that that's impossible, and I kind of got to up my game. So I solicited the advice of other streamers, and there's one fellow, Bishop, on Twitch. Elliot is his real name. And I went to his Discord and just said, look, what do you use? What's your hardware setup? And he shared it with me, and that's what I did. So I got an Elgato 4K capture card, which incidentally I'm going to be using for 4K game streaming when the time comes. I hope to get that done in time for Fallout 76. No promises there. And then I got the Shure... What is this? Shure... SM7B. Had to look at it. I got the Shure SM7B as he suggested. And I got a brand new camera. That is a Sony A7S. And then he recommended a lens, and I got the lens, and then I kind of had to figure out how it all went together. But let me show you the difference. This is what I used to look like. Yeah. Oh, it's messed up. And as you can see, it's a bit of a different. But yeah, I did this for 9 years. Actually, I did that for a lot less. I did this for 3 years, and now I get to broadcast in this, which is so much better. So I'm very, very grateful to all of you who made this possible by liking my videos, of course, and to Elliot, who gave me the advice for the hardware that I needed. I'll show you my setup. It's kind of weird. So I don't know how this is going to work yet, but... yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I found this little clamp right there. It's I just clamped it onto the headphone holder that came with this monitor. I've got this Predator monitor, and there's this headphone holder back there that I just clamped it onto. It's it's kind of snaked around there. I'm hoping it doesn't fall. Yeah, it's kind of like a heavy looking camera, but I'm thinking it's gonna be okay. So. And this is all still a huge mess. I haven't bothered to fix my office up yet. My poor wife, she saw my new camera and she was so impressed by it. She says, your office is so horrible, and you've got this brand new camera. You got to make your office look better. So she cleaned up some clothes I had on a chair back there and made me look a little bit more professional. So that was very kind of her. Vellingham says, yo, man, you don't need a high-tech camera, man. All you need is some peace and love, man. Glad to catch you, man. Right back at you, man. Sealed Alucard says, the new one is beautiful. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the quality of this camera. You know, I'm not a film guy. I never went to school for video editing or, you know, filmmaking or, I don't know any of this. I'm a marketing guy. That's what my degree is in. So, yeah, this is all strange for me. I mean, I'm only able to make my videos because I just taught myself how to do it. I don't have any training whatsoever. So there's a lot of finesse when it comes to video editing that I'm just not sophisticated enough to be able to figure out. And then the hardware thing baffles me. Cameras, like photography, it's so intimidating. I've got this brand new camera, and I haven't fiddled with any of the settings yet. One of the reasons that I'm not broadcasting right now in 4K is because when I turned it on to 4K, there were a bunch of little sparkles shimmering over in this corner. And I had a horizontal striped shirt on, and I was getting a moire effect, or is it called a moire, where you get this optical illusion, and it's really bizarre. And I couldn't figure out how to change the settings of the camera to change that. And then, you know, these little white pixels were appearing over here, and it was really weird. So I'm broadcasting at 1920 1080. It's still HD, but it's not 4K. I eventually want to figure out the 4K thing so that I can broadcast my face in 4K, but we'll get there eventually. Nice hat, very fancy, thank you. It's a derby. Maybe now that I'm actually broadcasting at a higher resolution, people will be able to figure that out. They kept on calling it a fedora. It's not. It's a derby. There's a difference. The Dark Knight Archive says, hey, Oxhorn, this will be my only donation. I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to say that I start school tomorrow, and here is to a good school year. No need to apologize. Any donation is extremely welcome, and that is very generous. Thank you so much, and good luck with school. Callahan Trust says, sorry to bring up lockpicking again, but I forgot something last week. For finer control of the bobby pin, simply turn your mouse left or right as it's laying flat. Isn't that how you do it? Am I missing something? Isn't that how you do it? You can't use WASD or the... I always thought that's how you did it. Oh. The Dark Seraph says, got a glass of Fireball and a fine rum runner cigar. Cheers, and cheers at you, and thank you for reminding me about the cigars. I got to stay on task here. I get distracted easy, if you haven't noticed, especially when it comes to the chat. I love reading your comments, and I love to hear what you thought your thoughts are on my video today. I had so much fun putting together my video about Deacon today, but as you know, if you watched it, it took me a long time to put together. I didn't have a video for you yesterday because... well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, this video kicked my butt. I've been collecting footage and collecting save games for, it feels like years. It hasn't been years. It's been months. I've been working on this video for months, but every time Deacon would, you know, approach me with an affinity check or something, I would do a save, and I had to manage all of those saves. And then it was just running around the world trying to get Deacon to say all of these things. And honestly, I don't know if you're on my Discord, you saw this, but the reason I got Deacon to say as much as he said is because I found his script. And his script is available online. You can find it on the wiki, or you can find it in the game files. And what it is it's the subtitles that he has in the game for every single thing that he can say. And they have to include those subtitles in the game. But the nice thing about it being text is we can scan it. So I read his entire script, and I took notes. And I made notes for myself about where I thought he was going to say each thing. And then I just brought Deacon to each of the different places and hoped that it would trigger. I'd say maybe 80% of the ones that I wanted to include in the video, he actually said. There were a few that I wanted him to say that I couldn't find the trigger point. And there was one in particular, because this would have really made my argument. Somewhere in the world, Deacon will stop you and say, I grew up around here. And it's a little bit more nuanced than that. I was talking with some of the fans on Discord about this, and we all spent hours, like 16 hours yesterday, trying to find the trigger point. I opened up the creation kit. I couldn't find the trigger point. They all thought that it was cut from the game. But this is an essential, like, if I could have found that point where he says that, it would have made my argument. But it's nuanced because part of what he says, he stops you and he says, I grew up around here, we would go on the museum tour every Memorial Day. Now, I cross-referenced that particular dialogue snippet with the dialogue snippets from all other companions in the game, and no one else says anything at that particular point except for Curie. When Curie gets close to this same location, she stops you and she says, "Ooh, a tour. Can we please go on the tour?" So they are connected. Both characters mentioned the tour. Now, I racked my brain. Obviously, we think of the Museum of Freedom. That nails the museum part. It nails the Memorial Day part, but it doesn't really nail the tour part. There's no automated tour we can go on. So I went to Swan Pond. There's the Freedom Trail robot there who can give you a tour. He didn't say it there. I went to the Nahant Oceanological Society because of the robots in there that kind of give advice. They didn't say anything there. I went to Bunker Hill. That's a national landmark. People probably went there for Memorial Day, and Meg there asks if you want to go on the tour. He didn't say anything. I went to Vault 81, and there's that little kid who takes you on a tour. Nothing. Nobody said anything. I tried every single place in the entire Commonwealth that could even be vaguely associated with something to do with Memorial Day and a museum and a tour and the Museum of Witchcraft. I took him there. Nothing. Couldn't get Deacon to say a doggone thing. And I looked it up in the creation kit. I mean, I found the dialogue in the creation kit. I could have edited the text that he actually said, but I couldn't find the reference in the world. I don't know where he said it. But the reason that this was so important for my theory is that if there's a place in the Commonwealth where he says that he grew up there, and not only that, but he would visit a museum at Memorial Day, then that, if it's true, is proof that he's a ghoul. Because it means that he was born before the war. Nobody after the war is going to be celebrating Memorial Day. Memorial Day is a uniquely American holiday. Who else would be celebrating Memorial Day? Would it be people post-apocalypse? What are they memorializing? The fallen warriors from before the war? Probably not. Maybe they're the people who were killed in the war? Maybe. But we have no record of there being a Memorial Day after the war, post-bellum. So if he celebrated Memorial Day as a kid and went to a museum to do so and even took a tour, all of that says that Deacon lived before the bombs dropped. And the only way he could have lived before the bombs dropped is if he was cryogenically frozen, like the Soul Survivor, or if he had some sort of magical ability like the Cabot family, or if he's a ghoul. And I wanted that so bad. I wanted to include it, but I couldn't find it. And the possibility that Bethesda cut it from the game is real. And maybe they cut it from the game for that reason, because that's really hard evidence that he's a ghoul. And maybe they didn't want to give us that. I went to Faneuil Hall. Yes, I went everywhere. I spent 16 hours yesterday. I spent 16 hours trying to get this done. Oh, drove me crazy. So yeah, I ended up cutting that from my video. But I still think I made a pretty compelling argument that he's a ghoul. Again, we don't really know. We don't really know, because he's a liar, and everything he could have said is a lie. So, I mean, I definitely put that in the video. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. We really don't know. But that's the best theory that I can come up with. And I disproved the idea that he's the lone wanderer. He can't be the lone wanderer at all, because the lone wanderer left the vault at the age of 18 in 2277. But Deacon is first mentioned by his name Deacon in the railroad terminal in 2273. 4 years. That's a 4-year difference. So how could the lone wanderer have been in the Commonwealth acting as Deacon 4 years before he or she left Vault 101 at the age of 18? He would have been 14 years old. And if Deacon is Johnny D, he was first mentioned in 2266, which would make him even older. I don't know how much older. I can't think math right now. I've been working. Anyway, yeah, so my Deacon video, I had so much fun putting it together, but it kind of, it blew my mind. It's like, I'm recovering from it. I haven't worked today. I've been dealing with the new camera all day. I wanted to get a beautiful new camera in time for the show, and I just did it. I barely got it installed in time. I had to install a new capture card and then fiddle with all these settings. It was a big pain in the butt, but I got it done in time. So that's what I dealt with today. So no video tomorrow. I wasn't able to work on one tomorrow. I just need to recuperate from my Deacon video. I'm going to recuperate from making my Deacon video with a nice cigar and a little bit of scotch, and we can all have a nice conversation. How about that? don't want to burn it. Oh. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. A little bit of iced tea. Why not just shoot him with a gamma gun? Yeah, the problem with that is that Hancock takes damage from a gamma gun. So from a game mechanic standpoint, they just didn't factor that in. They didn't factor into the game mechanic the lore of the fact that ghouls don't take damage from radiation if Hancock takes damage from radiation. ADCJ5 says, Oxhorn, great vids. Love LA Noir. FYI, there's a lot of camera shake. Yeah, it's because I'm pounding on the table. I'm pounding on the table. I'm animated. When I do the broadcast, I'm animated, and I pound on things. Like, if I'm just doing this, it doesn't happen. But when I pound on the desk, yeah, it's Melancholic Joy says, why are you against cursing? Because it's not creative. It's not creative. It's like society came together and said, let's make a taboo. This list of words we shall not say. And if you say these words, you are considered to be vulgar. Okay, fine. So if anyone wants to be edgy, they just go to that list of words, which has already been pre-made for them, that they have available from an early age. This, incidentally, is why young children tend to be the ones who love using curse words. Ooh, I said the F word. Huh? It's just, it lacks creativity. If you want to tell someone off, there are a plethora of wonderful words you could use to tell someone off. Use a little bit of creativity instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to use these same 4 words over and over again. That's why I'm against it. Jacob says, people are complaining about the apocalypse like there is no tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the tip, Rusky. Rusky says, what if Deacon is an alias passed down from person to person, and the face changes are a cover for it? He could be grooming you to take over as Deacon. A very compelling point. I didn't think about that when I made my video, and it is definitely a compelling point. That would explain all of his lies, because he's testing you. He's testing the Soul Survivor. Is the Soul Survivor really dedicated to the cause of the synths? Will the Soul Survivor be able to take over as leader of the synths when I am gone? That's a compelling argument. Will Johnson says, Ox, cheers, good sir. Cheers. I forgot to pour my scotch. Where's my scotch? Here's Scotchy, Scotchy, Scotch. Oh. There he is. All right, here's that sound. That's why we do it. Triconulus says, what about the Museum of Witchcraft? I went there. I mean, that's a long shot because it doesn't really have anything to do with Memorial Day, unless there's a Memorial Day dedicated to women who were sacrificed for being witches during the Boston or the witch trials. But I don't think that there is a day, or there would have been one in the Fallout universe. I went there anyway, and he didn't say anything. I ended up with reams and gigs, I should say, gigs and gigs of footage that I ended up not using that I considered publishing as a supplemental that I would have unlisted and linked to, but I ran out of room. I went to bed at 4 in the morning last night. I didn't wake up to read your comments on my video until noon. It was a tough night, but I got it done. I was pleased. What a nuclear Armageddon is... Okay. Same Riplitz says, would a nuclear Armageddon be inevitable in your opinion? No, I don't think anything is inevitable, and that's why I'm not one of those what are they called? Wow, the camera shake is bad. I got to stop touching my desk. It's really bad, isn't it? All right, sorry. Anyway, that's why I'm not one of those guys who goes out and builds a bunker for himself and starts to can fruits and vegetables and, you know, back to the earth and no society. Look, I'm not going to bet that society ends. If that bet is wrong, I'm boned. I'm done, right? I'm cut off from gasoline and water and food. I'm going to have to, I don't even have any guns. I can't just defend myself. Yeah, if society is done, well, so am I. But what's the likelihood that that's going to happen? I mean, we've been going strong for a pretty long time. We've had our fair share of, wars and emergencies. But what's the likelihood that an apocalypse will happen and everything will be like? Even if that happens, I'm not. I might be alive because I built a bunker for myself and I've got 2 years worth of canned food. But even if I am, how long can I keep that up? Let's say I eat through my 2 years of canned food and my purified water. What then? I can't go back to the store to get more canned food. It's one of those things where if the world ends, few of us are going to survive it. So I'm not going to worry about being prepared for an Armageddon that we have no evidence is actually going to happen. I'd rather just prepare and live in the world within which I find myself. Brian Isaacs says, did the Weaver rail explanation work for how sights attached to the guns in Fallout after the divergence? Can't wait to play 76. Well, the Weaver rail, the problem with the Weaver rail is that it's so unique. It's a unique invention. If it were that obvious to make, why wasn't it made, in the 18th century or the 19th century? Guns had been around for hundreds of years before the Weaver rail was invented. So there's no evidence. The point is that there's no evidence that just because it was invented in the 80s or the 90s in our universe, that as a consequence it would be invented in the Fallout universe. Especially when we went hundreds of years without it ever being invented. Christian Eckberg says, you're fast becoming my favorite YouTuber. Lots of fun from Fort Bragg, my man. Seriously, though, get some ice. Yeah, my ice machine's broken. I'll get some ice eventually. Nocturne Chanson says, Deacon keeps streaking in my game. I find him naked sometimes too. That's a glitch in his automated clothing change script. Sometimes if you fast travel right when he was in the middle of changing his clothes, he can appear on the other end of that fast travel naked. Or if you enter a dungeon right when he was in the middle of his swap, it can break his swap, and then everything is kind of reversed. The next time he goes into a trigger point where it says that he's supposed to swap, it thinks that he's currently wearing clothes, but he's not because he got there during a fast travel. So he does a swap, but he ends up staying naked because he takes off nothing and is unable to put something on, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it can happen. Callahan Trost says maybe Hancock takes damage because of how he became a ghoul, or does Daisy and Good Neighbor also take damage? Anyone takes damage. It's not just Hancock. Anyone in the game who is not a feral ghoul can take damage. So essentially, non-feral ghouls and humans are the same as far as the game is concerned from a game mechanics point of view. For example, if you have a ghoul settler and you accidentally push that ghoul settler into water, if he or she stays there long enough, like every other settler, they'll die. They're not immune. And that's just an oversight, I think, because the lore should be that they would live. But they don't. Malak Joy says Deacon is immortal because he's the most handsome man in the post-apocalyptic world, blessed by Adam. All right, yeah, I know that there is a movement out there, for lack of a better word, of women who are smitten by Deacon. There's a mod on the Nexus that allows you to make Deacon romanceable, and you should read the comments of that mod sometime. A lot of really happy women download and install that mod. Ox, did you try the Jamaica Plain tour for Deacon? Also, wish me luck on popping the question to my girlfriend this week. We both love your vids. Well, congratulations to you and good luck. I did take him to Jamaica Plain, but I mean, even though it's not really a tour, it's a scavenger hunt. Well, it's kind of a scavenger hunt. It's more of a museum than a tour. Once you get into the vault, you find the jewels, but before the war, those would have just been on display as if it had been a museum. So, but yeah, I did take them there because Jamaica Plain does have a memorial there, a big statue. And no, he didn't say anything. Frustrating. All this talking is making my cigar go out. I did it again. Don't want to burn the foam on my little pop screen thing. Best Fallout plot, game plot, says Ness. Oh man, that's so hard. This may be an Okay, so I have long stated that I'm not going to say which game I like best because I like them all equally. They're all really good in their own right, and they're fun to play equally. I mean, I enjoy the game mechanics of Fallout 4 better than 3 or New Vegas just because it's more modern and updated. But, you know, in terms of just overall the package of the game, I don't really have a favorite. They're all wonderful. In terms of story, I'm having a really hard time between 4 and New Vegas. And I know that that's an unpopular opinion. There are some diehard New Vegas fans out there who think the story is amazing, and the story is amazing in parts. And there are parts of the story that are not amazing, not really thought through all the way. Of course, that is always excused by saying, well, that's because Bethesda gave them a deadline. Obsidian would have finished. Well, yeah, that's every game company. Every game company has a deadline. Every game company has something that they didn't finish because they had to meet the deadline. So, anyway, at any rate, Obsidian did an amazing job with their DLCs. Every single DLC has a wonderful story. Some better than others. I think Lonesome Road and Old World Blues are right up there. They're like cream of the crop. I love parts of Honest Hearts, and parts of it are just not really interesting. And then Sierra Madre, the story parts of Sierra Madre are good, but a lot of the gameplay parts are kind of tedious. But the story parts are really good. Anyway, all of their DLCs are amazing. With Fallout 4, I personally thought the plot of Fallout 4 was enthralling. And I know there are some who are going to disagree, but all 4 of the factions are fascinating in my opinion. Some people think the railroad wasn't finished. The story was kind of bland. I disagree. I really enjoyed the railroad story, and I think that the railroad story takes the most work, because to truly appreciate it, you got to dig into it. You got to read all the terminals. You got to talk to all of the people. You got to do all the railroad side quests. It's one of those side stories that's fascinating if you get down into it. Especially everything having to do with Patriot. It's so cool. One of these days, I'll do the full story of Fallout 4 so we can explore everything. But yeah, just the Fallout 4 storyline, it broke my heart. It was fascinating. I loved it. The Fallout New Vegas storyline, I love the world-building aspect of Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas built a fascinating world. The story of the Courier and the story of the Courier is compelling, especially its resolution in Lonesome Road. But the ultimate story of the conflict between the NCR, House, and the Legion was it was interesting. It was good, and I loved the world that was built there. But then at the very end, we've got these 3 warring powers. They all have their own motives, but it felt less personal. Fallout 4 is really personal. And yet, there's a lot of world-building factions at the end in politics. New Vegas felt a little less personal to me. Jack's Dismay says, Oxhorn, have you ever considered doing lore on other games as well as Fallout, such as Metro, The Elder Scrolls, or Mass Effect? I'm gonna say no to Mass Effect. I played Mass Effect Andromeda, and I know it's not a great representation of the series. And I know that there are some older games that have a lot of fans, but I just don't, after playing Andromeda, I just don't think I could get into the Mass Effect series. I beat Skyrim. I haven't played any of the other Elder Scrolls games, but I did beat Skyrim. I enjoyed it, but I'm not really doing a fantasy thing. I did fantasy for many years back in my World of Warcraft days, and I think I'm done with fantasy for now. Now, Metro, I live streamed all of the Metro games here on this channel. In terms of lore, though, it's such each game is so linear that it would be really hard for me to develop a lore series. Basically, I would be doing with Metro what I'm doing with L.A. Noire. I would just start each mission and go from mission to mission and turn each mission into an episode. And by the time we're done, we will have played through the entire game. which is certainly a viable way of going around and telling that story, and if there's enough interest, I may. But, you know, the frustrating bit is I was really looking forward to Metro Exodus. My plan, and I realize I'm continuing to shake the camera. Sorry, I'll figure it out. My plan was to get Metro Exodus later this year and start to really dig into it to try and, you know, do some Metro stuff. But then they announced Fallout 76. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll hold off on Metro for a bit and kind of stick with Fallout for a while. Lancaster Cashmaster says, greetings and cheers from Florida, Oxhorn. Just wanted to thank you for what you do. Cheers. And then he held up a beer mug. Cheers from Florida. Or cheers to Florida from Seattle. Darkstar68 says, will we see the Puppet Man in Fallout 76? I don't know. I mean, just because 76 is one digit away from 77, does that, as a consequence, mean that the vaults are going to be close together? I don't know, but there is compelling evidence. After all, we find his vault suit in the Capital Wasteland. Now, we don't find his vault in the Capital Wasteland. But how far can a vault suit travel? We don't find vault suits from Vault 34, 19, 13, 15, 101 in the Capital Wasteland or in the Commonwealth. Those vault suits stay on the West Coast. It's unlikely we would ever find them on the East Coast. It's because the people are on the West Coast who wore them. But we find a Vault 77 jumpsuit on the East Coast. That's compelling evidence that the vault itself is likely close to the East Coast. If not on the East Coast, then nearby. We know it's not in the Capital Wasteland. We know it's not in Boston. It could be anywhere. Maybe it's in Rhode Island. Maybe it's in Florida. Maybe it's in West Virginia. I don't know. We'll find out. We know that there is going to be a new vault. I believe 63 is the number. That was on the map. They showed them the world map of West Virginia, and it has a vault number 63, which incidentally is kind of close. I mean, we've got 63. They mentioned 69 and 68 in Fallout lore. We know those exist. 76 is already in the West Virginia area. Could it be that that's where they had all of the 60s and 70s? That's where Vault-Tec put the vaults with the numbers 60s and 70s? I don't know. I mean, that said, well, no, because all the double digits are on the West Coast. 19, well, no, it's not. We've got 19 on the East Coast. 13 and 15 are on the West Coast. 0 and 1 are on the West Coast. .34's on the West Coast. Is there another double-digit vault on the East Coast? Rescue says, how do you think they'll handle other vaults in Fallout 76, since most of them probably weren't open yet? It's one, you know, I don't think it's going to be any different than how they handle vaults in the games that they've done, because some of the vaults ended really soon. Like 74, yeah, 74, the one with the drugs, lasted only a few years on the East Coast, and some of the others only lasted a few years, because the experiment killed them. And this is happening 25 years after the nuclear apocalypse. 25 years is plenty of time for an experiment to kill an entire vault worth of people. So I think we're going to find what we find in all the other games. We're going to find some vaults with people in them. We're going to find some vaults with nothing but corpses. I think that's what's most likely. How, Jacob says, how did you get the bipod to stick behind your computer? You just have to measure... Okay, Jacob says, how to get a bipod to stick it behind your computer. You have to measure to how high of a bipod you want. I don't understand, Jacob. I've got a tripod. 3 legs. Tripod. 3 legs. I've got 3 legs on this tripod clinging to the back of my monitor. A bipod would give me only 2 legs. That would be much less stable. Why are you talking about I don't know. Nick says, are we going to be able to play 76 with you? Would kind of be a dream of mine. I get that question a lot, to be perfectly honest, and my answer is probably not. And the reason is because many of the servers are not big. I mean, it's not like there's one big server, and when Oxhorn's online, anyone who logs into Fallout 76 is going to be able to party with Oxhorn. It's more like, I don't know if we're going to be able to personally, pardon me, select the server that we want to play on. Like in World of Warcraft and Dark Age of Camelot, you could choose the servers where you wanted to create a character. I made a character on Percival for Dark Age of Camelot, and I made a character on Silverhand for World of Warcraft, but I don't know if that's going to be the same case in Fallout 76. Is it going to be such that we have to pick a server and then we can only play with the people on that server? Or is it going to be more of sort of like a matchmaking thing where the people who come in and out of the shared virtual server upon which our character is at that moment are transient? Are they going to be like, will the people we find in the world change from gameplay session to gameplay session? Or will we see the exact same people because that community is persistent? And I don't know the answer to that. If they're not persistent, then the ability to schedule a time to play with people may be kind of tricky. There's a lot of questions we don't know. So, and that said, there would be too many people who would want to play with me that I don't know if that's even feasible. So I think I'm probably going to do a solo thing as much as I can in Fallout 76 so I can shoot footage and do lore, but we'll see. KT says, having trouble with structure. Can you play all factions and still follow the main quest alone? Do you have a video suggestion? You are wonderful, Ox. Thank you. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you referring to Fallout 4? You can play with all of the major factions up until a point. There is a point where you have to make a decision. At the Battle of Bunker Hill, you have the opportunity to fight against or with a particular faction. When you get to the mass fusion building, that's a point of no return for many of the characters in the game. There factions in the game. There is a point where the Institute sends you to a house, and that house is being defended by the Minutemen, and you kind of have to either tell them to stand down, in which case you're picking a side, or fight through them. I mean, there are a number of points of no return, but you can get through a lot of the primary plot while being pleasant with all four of those factions before you have to make a choice. And it includes finding Kellogg. So it just depends on how far you play. Samsack says, do you think your Fallout 76 vids will be different from your other Fallout videos? My live streams will be very different from the lore videos because those will be live streams and we'll be exploring the world together. But that said, when I sit down to do a lore video, I don't intend to change my format. I'll probably keep the same format. Meloc Joy says, do you think the 76 outrage is warranted? I'm a little worried, but I'm open-minded. Well, I think that there are a couple of things. So, game developers historically have had a lot of disrespect for their user base. This has been prominently on display by companies like EA and companies who put dollars before the experience of the people who are trying to play the game. This happens a lot with JRPGs or games made in Japan where you fight all the way through the game and then to get the best ending, well, you got to download the DLC. You really want to know how the story ends? Download this $5 DLC. You know, stuff like that where they kind of lure you into the world, but then to get the full experience, to get the final story, you got to pay a little money. That kind of game development and game design is really disrespectful to the user, and people get outraged about that, and justifiably so. Oh, there we go. It did. My camera. That's it. Hold on. My great camera died. My battery did. Oh, no. Oh. Let's try this again. Maybe it just timed out. Oh, gosh. I hope it didn't time out, because if it times out, that means... If it times out, then that means I'm not going to be able to use it as a webcam. Hold on. Let me see if... No, it's dead. Okay, so how long did that battery last? It was at 40% when I put it in there, and I broadcast for about 40 minutes or so before it died. Are you kidding me? So on one battery, I'm only going to get an hour's worth of... Well, a little over like an hour and a half worth of footage. Great. Well, okay, so I'm learning stuff. Well, my AC adapter is going to arrive in a few days, so this won't be a problem next week. But for the rest of today's episode, sadly, we got to use the old bad camera. Oh, well, it was fun while it lasted. Anyway, so people are justified in being outraged at being disrespected by game developers who just see them as walking dollar bills. Now, the problem is when a gamer can't separate the difference. Can't separate somebody who's producing a product and choosing to put that for sale so that people can enjoy it, and people who are maliciously advertising a false product. So when a game company comes out with a video game, you expect that game to have an ending. You expect that game to have all of the characters that are familiar with that franchise. If you're buying a Star Wars game, you don't put Darth Vader only as an extra DLC because you know he's going to be the most popular character. That's disrespectful to the people who are paying for and buying the game. If you're making a plot, you don't take the ending and remove it from the plot and make it only available as a DLC. You're falsely advertising a game. You're not giving them the finished product. But when you make a game and you give the person the entire finished product, but you can make more stuff, but you want to charge for it, that's okay, in my opinion. Without the ability to charge microtransactions for additional content, there would be no additional content. It's not like there is an infinite amount of content that can exist within a game, and we just get it all when we buy the game for the original price because we've paid for the game, and we should get everything. It doesn't work that way. The game developers sit down and they plan out the game they want to make, and they allocate the resources they have to make that game, and they make the game and they publish it. They've spent their money. They got their money back for investing that money. Any more work they do on the game that has already been paid for is sunk cost. They're not going to make anything back on that. And eventually, they're not going to be able to pay the people working on the game, and their company collapses. It's not sustainable. So, once we have the finished game, and we've enjoyed it, and we've played it, and we got the entire plot, if we want more for that game, it's fair and just to pay for that in the form of microtransaction. So I am not disappointed by microtransactions in theory when they're used correctly to give us extra stuff that is not supposed to be with the game, that wouldn't exist if not for those microtransactions. I'm fine with that. It's only when the game developers completely disrespect their user base and don't give us what they're advertising with our initial purchase that I have a problem. And sadly, that has been done too often by game developers, which has left scars in the gaming community. So many gamers think of microtransactions as the former instead of the latter that they now are completely turned off to all microtransactions. Creation Club is horrible because you're charging for money for a microtransaction and a downloadable piece of content. Well, yeah, but without the Creation Club, that stuff wouldn't exist to begin with. Captain Cosmos is not a mod. It wasn't a mod. We didn't find it before the Creation Club. It's not something we would have if not for the Creation Club. And that's why I like the Creation Club to a certain extent, because we get stuff that's new that we wouldn't get otherwise. And I'm all about finding new avenues to get new stuff for Fallout 4. So in wrapping that back to Fallout 76, yeah, there are a lot of people who have been concerned with the idea of microtransactions for Fallout 76, and I understand that, and I don't even think that that's inappropriate, but I would encourage them not to conflate a simple capitalistic microtransaction where you spend money for the good that you want to enjoy with false advertising. The false advertising kind of microtransaction I don't like, but the capitalistic type of microtransaction where you get what you pay for, I like. That's the major difference. Now, in terms of Fallout 76 not being a Fallout game, I've never really enjoyed arguments like that, because what is a Fallout game? Who is to define what a Fallout game is? Is Fallout New Vegas a true Fallout game? After all, it differs quite a lot from Fallout 1 and 2. It's not an isometric type of game like Fallout 1 and 2 were. There are a lot of gameplay mechanic differences. There are even sound effect differences. There's a lot of art differences. And yet it was made by people who made Fallout 1 and 2. What about Fallout Brotherhood of Steel? It's such a bad game that even Bethesda won't consider it to be canon because Interplay just completely dropped the ball. The game is so completely horrid. And yet it was made by the very same people who made 1 and 2. So what's a Fallout game? Who is to decide? Me? Bethesda? Obsidian? You? That's the problem. When people sit there and say, well, Fallout 76 isn't what Fallout is supposed to be, who are we to say what Fallout is supposed to be? Interplay originally designed a game that was supposed to be multiplayer. They were in the process of making a Fallout multiplayer game when, they lost their ability to do so. They decided to invest their money into Icewind Dale, I think is what they did. They put their money and their efforts into Icewind Dale instead of continuing with Van Buren. But they even released some artwork from this multiplayer version of their Fallout game, which incidentally was not going to be isometric. It was going to be a three-dimensional model game. It looked very reminiscent to Warcraft 3, in my opinion. That's what they were planning. So if they were planning a multiplayer game, they just didn't make it. How can we say that Fallout wasn't designed to be multiplayer? So, I just think that sometimes we get too caught up on this. I'm not against the idea of a multiplayer version of Fallout. There are a lot of things about multiplayer games that I don't like, that I hope we won't see, but we don't know what to expect completely yet. They've shared with us a lot of really good stuff, and that I've tried to share all of that with my channel, and so I guess we could say that we have a pretty decent idea of what to expect, but we don't have the product in our hand yet, and so judging it this early is, I don't know, that's not something I'm going to do. I'm going to wait until I have the game in my hands before I judge it too harshly. So no, I don't think the rage for Fallout 76 is warranted, to answer your question. Do you think that Fallout 76 will have transport, says Zach Attacks? Well, we know there's going to be fast travel. I don't believe there's going to be any sort of other transport aside from fast travel. I know there's not going to be cars. They've said that there's not going to be cars. Will there be vertibirds? I don't know. That's a great question. Nick says, that's too logical. Darn it, Oxhorn. My apologies. Caleb says, hey Oxhorn, love your Fallout lore videos and the LA Noire series. Have a couple of cigars on me. Also, how often do you think that you'll play Fallout 76 over the other games you make content on? Well, when Fallout 76 drops, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop doing other stuff, and I'm going to focus on Fallout 76. Now, I won't be doing that forever, of course. I don't want to abandon LA Noire, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, or even Fallout 4. I want to continue to produce content on those games. But when Fallout 76 is first released, we have a small window of opportunity to really dive on in and produce a lot of content when the fire is hot, so to speak. So I'm going to be producing Fallout 76 content while the fire is hot, and then once it cools down a little bit, we'll move Fallout 76 into the rotation of the games that I'll be producing content on. Jack Wolf says, do you think the Pip-Boy app will work with 76? Do you think it will be a useful tool? Oh, you mean the Pip-Boy app that allows you to control your inventory in Fallout 4? I doubt it's going to work with Fallout 76. They may make another app that would work with it, but I think the Pip-Boy app is designed just for Fallout 4. Amion says, would you consider playing or streaming any of the new super mods that are coming out, like Cascadia, New California, Miami, or Molten Cloud's Envy Engine adaptation of Fallout 2? Maybe. The thing is, almost all of those have been talked about for as long as I've been doing videos about Fallout 4. And, I mean, I've been hearing about Cascadia for years. Just like years. And I understand that these are, mods that are made by the fan base, and they've all got other real jobs, and they're not making money for doing this, and it's purely out of the passion of what they do, and that I completely understand. So, I mean, I don't really have a lot of high hope that most of those are going to get made. I hope they're made, but I don't have a lot of hope that they all will be. Now, the one that seems to be the furthest along and the most fleshed out and the most interesting, in my opinion, is Miami. I mean, they released a wonderful trailer that, I mean, it looks like it's really far along. That one has a lot of potential. So I might do that one, but probably, man, my camera is really... Oh, that one's not on. Okay. I might do Miami, but I don't know if I'll do the others. Yo, Optic is out off champs, bro. No, it's Oh, that made it worse. There we go. I think that's fine. Alan Miller says, "Hi, Oxhorn. I'm really enjoying the LA Noir videos. Keep them coming." Will do, will do. Oxhorn, where'd you get your hat? I got it from a website called MikeTheHatter.com. James Game says, "Hey, Oxhorn, can you please do a Q&A?" That's what this is. I'm doing a Q&A now. This is a Q&A. All right. Mr. Biofan says, "Oxhorn, a big fan of your lore videos. What do you think of Todd Howard saying you can play the game solo on E3 stage despite not having any single player? It seems deliberately misleading." I was initially misled. I thought when he said solo that it meant single player, and I had to be corrected by the fan base. So I do think that that was an unfortunate choice of words. Did he deliberately choose to mislead people? I'm not going to judge his soul. I don't know. But to his credit, he has come out to clarify as soon as people started to ask questions about that. I think it was even the very next day that he came out and clarified that it will be a multiplayer-only game with solo aspects, single-player aspects. So that clarification came really quick and makes me think that he wasn't intentionally trying to deceive. Caleb S. says, "You should look into Fallout Frontier. I've been following it for a while, and it looks really good. Not sure if it's content-worthy, but it might be." Another big-sized DLC type thing? If so, I'll look into it. The Dark Seraph says, "A tricycle is just a unicycle with training wheels." You should write a book of wisdom. You could be the next Marcus Aurelius. Jacob Prower says, "Sorry, that was a typo. It was supposed to be you can buy a tripod." Oh, he's going back to his comment. It was supposed to be that you could buy a tripod that you can stick behind your computer desk to cut down on the shaking. You will have to measure to see how high of a tripod you need. Would it? Because both my monitor and the tripod are on the same desk. Oh, you mean to have it on the ground behind my desk? Yeah. I could do that. Wait, no, I couldn't because the wall is pretty close there. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Nick Giordani says, "Hey, Oxhorn, started a new Fallout 4 character after watching you. I saw you play Survival, and I would love to know what other difficulties you play on." Well, for Fallout 4, I don't play Survival. I have played it before. I don't play it for most of my characters. I play on the very hard difficulty. For all of the other games, I play on their most difficult difficulty. Warner Hammer says $5 on Patreon or join for $4.99 on YouTube. Both good options, whatever you like best. I'm just flattered that you would consider it. Let's see, what are the differences? Well, the differences are that if you become a sponsor on YouTube, you gain access to emojis in this chat, which sadly I can't give on Patreon. But the benefit on Patreon is that you gain access to a Patreon-only Discord community inside my Discord server, which has some people, but it's not terribly active. The Discord server is very active, but the Patreon channels get maybe 1 or 2 messages a week, so they're not terribly active. But the other channels are very active. It's up to you, whatever you want. Volective says, "OMG, my cat is terrified of Oxhorn." All right, here's your opportunity. Bring the cat really close to the screen. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be quiet. Hi, kitty, kitty. Hi, kitty, kitty. Woo! Did I scare him? Yeah? I hope he's still alive. If I gave anyone a heart attack, I'm sorry. Antok says, "I wish Bethesda or Obsidian would make a Fallout Chicago so we can see what ED Logs said about the scientists and the base of the Enclave there. I believe we went to Chicago in Tactics. I haven't played Tactics yet, so I'm not sure." I think I scared more people with that than I scared cats. The suspense says my family jumped. Oh, no. Yeah, I scared a lot of people. Sorry about that. My dog was unamused by that Oxhorn, says Midi and Minos. All right. Atomic says, you're so close to 1 million. Doing anything special for the huge milestone? Oh, I should do something, and I don't have a long time to think about it. I'll be hitting a million, if not by the end of this month, by the middle of next. But I don't have anything planned. That's the problem. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Gosh, I have no ideas. I don't really have time. I got so much content to do. I'm working on a new series, which I think you'll really enjoy. I'm getting a custom animation done for it. We're gonna have a good time. But yeah, I'm right in the middle of working on that. Brandon says, Ox, I loved your Deacon profile. When you edit and voice over your vids, how many takes do you do to get the feel just right? Do you write everything out, or do you just do it on the fly during editing? And then Cassie asks, Oxhorn, are you actually okay? I'll let the experts say whether or not I'm okay. We'll leave that to time. Time can judge my mental capacity. Brandon, no. So what I do is I play through what I want, and I have an idea in my head of what I want. So with the Deacon story, I knew some of what I wanted to tell, and then I read through the script and took notes about all of the other things that I wanted. Then I shot the footage of him saying all of the other things, and then I put them in my Premiere timeline in the order that I wanted to talk about them. Then I just, pulled open Audacity and started recording, and then just scrolled through my timeline in Premiere, and when I hit something, I would talk about that. So I talked about meeting them at the railroad, and I talked about the first Affinity dialogue, then I talked about some other little snippets, and I tried to weave it together in a story on the fly while I was narrating it. So no, I didn't write an hour-long script. I did sort of just wing it, but there was some structure there. David Crafts says, hi from New Hampshire. I watch you all day long while at work. Well, thank you very much, and I hope to be able to produce so much content that I'll never keep you bored at work. Liam McKinney says, hey, Oxhorn, I love the channel. I saw your video on saving Melbourne in Skyrim. I would love to see more Skyrim videos. Do you plan on doing more? Probably not. I enjoyed the Melbourne video, but I think I'm going to stick with post-apocalypse, retro-futuristic stuff for now. Okay, it's time to get started on Rage. Sad my camera's not... My other camera's dead, but that's okay. At least you can still see me. All right, let's pull open Rage here and pick up right where we left. Oh, Steam is down. Oh, hold on a second. That's right, we can listen to music. Oh, updating Steam. Ah. Oh, someone is saying that I spelled my live stream wrong. Let me try and fix that. Is it updated? Come on, Steam. Why? It's so frustrating that I can't play this game unless I have an internet connection through Steam. Yeah, you're right. I had the M capitalized. Sorry about that. Let me fix that. There we go. Finally, Steam pops up. Rage. All right, let's turn off my music. Move my broadcaster. Let's turn off Elgato. Oh, no. Yep, I had the wrong one. There. Oh, no. It's off. Hold on. There we go. Where's Rage? Come on, computer. Yes. Play Rage. Oxhorn is Fallout New Vegas before or after Fallout 4? The events of New Vegas take place before the I know I'm not sharing my screen yet. Give me a second. I've got my borderless. There we go. Man, I keep doing that. All right. That's almost clear enough. Let's pick up where we were. Let's continue our campaign. Now, what were we doing? I remember we just went through a pretty tough dungeon. Oh, that's right. We're checking in with the Resistance. Talk to Lessard in the Resistance base. Whoa. Hey, Portman. Nice mustache. Use wax?
You sure made a rep for yourself. Good job banging up those bandits. I'd say you're a regular tough guy.
Oh man, the dialogue. Okay, who are we talking to? This guy over here, Lessard?
Need safe passage?
That's Sharon. Oh, of course his name is Sharon. That's great. There he is, Lessard.
As the captain has told you earlier, getting the information off your ID drive is critical for us. But there are some sectors that I can't access with the single decryptor I have. I'm gonna need to run 2 decryptors in parallel if I want to get to those sectors, and that's where you come in.
Captain's got a contact in the north. He's heard rumors that an Ark emerged in the Jackal Valley. And let me tell you, if the Jackals were the first people those Ark survivors met, then they were dead in minutes. But the important thing is that the Jackals probably left that Ark intact, which means you should be able to recover their decryptor and get it back here.
So, I need you to go north to the Jackal Valley, find the Ark if it's there, and get that decryptor.
The Jackals are a dangerous bunch of bandits. You watch yourself.
Will do. All right, let me get your chat up because I can't see it for right now. There we are. Okay, locate the Jackal Canyon to the northeast. I'm guessing I need my car. Write a post-apocalyptic novel, Oxhorn. I've thought about it. I've thought about it. Maybe when I hit 5 million. Ammo. That was the mistake I made last week. I didn't have enough ammo. Okay, I need to find the ammo dealer. I don't even care how long it takes. I have got to have ammo. I ran around here, Subway Town, trying to find the ammo merchant, and I never found him or her.
If you haven't noticed yet, enforcers are in town. Be careful. I'd hate to see you get hauled off.
That's it. Where is the ammo merchant? Assassinix says, I love your videos and they're what keep me playing Fallout. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I intend to do so. No plans to stop anytime soon. Whoop, what's this? Ooh, secret? Nope. Ah, I've been here. I remember that filth. No. No, I need to do a quest for him still. I haven't done it yet. Ah, merchant. I know this guy sells something.
Looking for a deal?
What? Fat boys. Yeah, I need fat boys. Settler pistol?
See me often. You'll never know what I'll be selling.
Sweet. Well, I'll take the fat boys. Now I just need to get shotgun shells. Shotgun shells. Can you sell me shotgun shells?
Hey there, what you looking for?
Shotgun shells. That's what I'm looking for. Ammo. Yes! Buckshot. Pulse shot. Those pulse shots are pretty great. Authority. HE rockets. Viper rockets. Pulse ammo. Ammo for the advanced pulse weapons on the Monarch vehicles. I don't even know what that is. Viper rockets. Smart seeking rockets of doom. Target vehicles only. I have 15 of those. When it absolutely must die. HE rockets. I should... I don't have any, so yeah, I should probably buy some. Let's get 20. 20, just in case. Okay, well, I'm gonna buy a lot. Sniper rounds. $200 of those. 200 of those. I only have 38 of those, but they're pretty rare. I think I'll be okay. Homing rockets. Ammunition designed to work with all vehicle-mounted rocket launchers. I already have 10 of those, so I don't need to worry about that. Electro bolts. Steel-tipped bolts. I've got plenty of fat boys. Just bought 100 of those. I never liked the kill bursts. Okay, what else can I get? There's... How do I... Oh, I have to make those. All right, let's see if I've got anything to sell. Explosive pack. See, I don't know what I need to use as scrap. That's the problem. RC car kit. I should probably keep that. Battery pack. I don't know what to do with a mutant adrenal gland. Here, I'll sell the gasoline. Beer bottles, food cans. I want the escort bomb. Small objects. Tools. Probably need a water purifier. That sounds important. Antiseptic formula, small gears. Here, I wonder if there's anything
Don't
that I
forget
can
to check
craft
your
that I
notes
need
first.
supplies for. So let's head on over to our crafting menu. EMP grenade. How many of those? I have 5. No, I can make 5. I don't know how many I have, but I'll just keep that for now. Mind-controlled bolts. Ooh, I need... What is that? Ghost toxin? Oh, I'd have to go visit the ghosts. I can make 10 of those. That's great. 4 of those. I might as well build all of those. Bandages. What do I need to build bandages? I need antiseptic formula.
You
Town
need
isn't
anything.
the only
Bye
place
now.
that needs help. There are people across the
If I
entire
don't got it,
wasteland
you don't
struggling
need
to
it.
survive
What you looking
and
for?
a hero.
I'm looking for antiseptic formula. Well, she sells bandages. Well, I wonder if she sells any antiseptic formula. Sentry bot schematic. Wait a minute. What's this? Builds a batch of advanced wing sticks for playing catch-up to 3 bandits at a time. Builds a pack of dynamite bolts for stealth kills that end with a bang. Ooh, that sounds cool. Requires a steel bolt and... What is that? Build a pack of pop rock... fat mamas. They hurt like fat boys, but keep moving until they hit a wall. That sounds good. Adrenaline overdrive recipe ordnance pack nanonite. Antiseptic formula, yes! It's 8, though. So what's more expensive? Just to buy the antiseptic formula or the bandages themselves? Well, I'll buy a little bit of antiseptic formula just in case I run into any need for it in the field. Then let's buy some bandages. Plenty. Now, wing sticks. That's the one thing I really need. Wing sticks. I only have 4. Let's just buy some.
Come back if you need anything.
Okay. Now let's associate these correctly in our inventory. Oh, it's already assigned. So I've got my bandages, my RC car kit, my EMP grenade. We're good to go. So let's exit out of that. And I can't do that while I'm in here. Great. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let's save after doing all that, spending all my money. Buy the wing stick schematic. I wish I read your comment a minute ago. I will. Yeah, maybe when I get back we'll do that. But for now, let's get on with the mission. Monarch. Damage. Do I need to repair it? Nope. Let's leave to the wasteland. Hurt rubber. Whoa. This place is new. I have to admit, after watching the previews for Rage 2, it's looking like a pretty great game. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to play Rage 1, just to get our feet wet to see how we enjoy it. And I have to admit, I'm really enjoying this game a lot. The story's a little... but the gameplay is a lot of fun. And hopefully the Rage 2 story will be better. I do love the art design, though. It's beautiful. All right. Enter the Jackal Canyon. Mm. Geometry puzzle. There's something on the other side of this rock. How do I get up there? How do I get up there? Ah! It's gonna drive me bonkers. Let's see. Is there a way to get up there to drop down? Yep. Look at that. No. Come on. Up and up. Up, up. Yeah! Look at that. Night Blossom. Now, there's a rock in my way. Can I scale this bad boy? I'm gonna do some ninja skills. Here we go. Hop, hop, up. Oh, no. Nope. Nope. Oh, and oh, and I'm down. How do I get over there? No, that's optimistic. Get over that rock and then scale that. No, that's too much work. There's got to be an easier way. I want everything. Maybe it's just... Yep, up, up, up. I'm just hurting myself now is what I'm doing. Yep, up. I'll be continuing to hurt myself because I haven't learned my lesson yet. Let's try it again. Maybe we're feeling a little masochistic. Come on, give me up this rock. I've already done that one. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's try the tiptoe. No! I want whatever that is. I don't even know what that is, but it's sparkly and glowy, and I want it. Is it just booze? Is that all it is? Maybe it's just booze. All right, let's keep going. Laura says, Ox, your jumping is as good as your driving. Hey, hey. I know it. What? I didn't kill him? Or at least my shooting is as good as my shooting. I hear voices, I see no one. Oh, duck on it. Can I go this way? What? I guess I have to wait until I get over there. Alright, so let's go this way for now. Sealed Alucard says, try walking around the rock. I'll do that later. I've already given up. Well, the music is intense. The problem is I can hear them screaming at me. I just don't know where to look. Oh no! Darn it. Okay, well I didn't mean to use up my pop rocks. Let's switch to regular buckshot, please. Thank you. Let's go to wing sticks. I've got the wing sticks for a reason. I need to put them to good use this time. Is that smoke or water vapor? Whatever it is, it's obscuring my view. That's a cool little scrap city. They did a good job on that. Okay. Problem is now they're all probably going to be below me. What was that? What was that? What? What? What was that? Like a grenade? I don't even know what I just did. Is this a moving cart or something, or? Oh, it's that door. What did he say? I don't know if that was a tribal language or if he was cussing me out. That's amazing ninja skills, buddy, but I got a shotgun, so. Ooh, so much for stealth, right? I don't know what they're tossing at me. It's like a grenade launcher or something, but that thing is deadly. What was he doing down here? Whoa! Oh! Gonna get shot if I go out here. They want me to use the dynamite rounds? Okay. Dynamite bolts. Let's see what this does. Don't know if I can get them sliding around, but maybe I can get off a sniper shot with some dynamite bolts. Jacob says, "Hey, Oxhorn, tuning in from Nova Scotia right now. Just noticed you were streaming and decided to tune in. Well, I'm glad to have you on the program. Pleasure to have you all the way from Nova Scotia. And I've got big fiery balls of gas coming down here. What's that? Why is it doing that? It's a bad sign. Quick save, just in case. Oh, that's what they do. Okay. It's cute, but whoops. Why did that not work? Why did that not work? Why was I not able to use a bandage there? Did I just press the wrong button? I think I may have just pressed the wrong button. Let's try that explosion thing again, because that was fun. This time, let's try not to let it botch us up. It's ridiculous. What are these guys? I'm shooting something at me. What? What am I supposed to... I shouldn't have reloaded those, but I should have done. Okay, really don't want to jump. Is there another way? What's with this pipe? Finally got one. Maybe I have to jump. Well, okay, let's try that. Zip line? Is there a zip line that I missed? Quick save. Oh, look at that! Man, where do they come from? Let's try again. One of them jumped right behind me a minute ago. Ah! Staying in one place too long, that's what the problem is. It's giving them plenty of opportunity to pick me off with whatever it is. They're shooting at me, these doggone darts with the explosive things in them. Alright, let's try this. Time to go for a ride. Hello. Did they sound an alarm? There we go. They're going to keep coming out of these things, aren't they? Quick save. Run for it. Run for it. Run for it! Okay, now maybe I can get a wing stick kill. That's what I want. I just want one wing stick kill. Is that so much to ask? Yep, apparently it is. What the blazes? What is that? What are they doing? Should have reloaded. Something's going on out there. Oh, and they can get me through walls. Run away! Keep running! Run away! Keep running! Oh my goodness! Oh. Oh. This is my quick save, right? Nope. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Okay, whatever. I can't believe it. What's the point of a quick save if you can't load the quick save? Well, I got my wing stick kill. So much for that. How is that not killing the balloon? What the heck? How many shots to the balloon did I have to land before it finally dropped? No. Okay. Loot the corpses, loot the corpses. Money, money, money. Quick save. Super. So that's how we got there. Barrels of fuel. Ah, okay. Take a breather, take a breather. Bring some scotch. Ah, my cigar is out. Hold on, important things here. Oh. So much fire. Let's try stealth again. They blew the horn. I know there will be more. No? I'm running around picking up toasters and pots and pans. Can't imagine what this guy looks like with it all on his back. Oh no, this place. Alright, let's walk over him. And then run this way. There will be more, right? A couple more. Yep. Glad I bought ammo. Really glad I bought ammo. Okay. You're alright. Where's these snipers? These doggone snipers that have been trying to snipe at me. Where'd they go? Quick save. Last time I just ran through it, that didn't work out too well. Well, let's run up to the first one. Let's do a hard save. Oxhorn, I just pre-ordered Fallout 76 Tricentennial Edition and I was feeling happy. Keep up the good work. Thank you for letting me know. I felt happy after I pre-ordered it too. Is this another opportunity for stealth? Oh, that's right. That's what I get for trying to do the daggone wing sticks. No idea what's going on there, but I feel like I'm in the middle of a shooting gallery. That's ridiculous. What? What? Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Oh my goodness. They're killing their friends just as much as they're killing me. And I'm completely out of bandages. Can I make any more? Yes. They're just firing, flaming things off willy-nilly. Two paths. Ah! Doggone it. Okay. There it is. The Ark. Oh my. Felt right. What's this way? I'm thinking that's the way out.
This is President Davis. You, the Ark Volunteers, are mankind's last hope. Our survival, our very existence rests in your hands. No one will know what you will find when you awake. But remember, you and the contents of these Arks will form the final barrier to the extinction of mankind. Our prayers go with you, and Godspeed.
Felt right. What's this? Oh my. Here we go. That was great. Wow. Where's the motor, though? Oh, up there. Cool, I want one of those. Okay. Quick save. Oh, how did I do that? Was that just blind luck? I don't even know how I did that. It ricocheted off something. Oh, that's what he meant by go around the rock. Thank you. Ow! Can I go around this rock too? Nope. Oh, well, I can't get that stuff up there, but at least I got what I needed. I refuse to engage. There we go. Let's repair. Nice and cheap. Okay, now to turn this in.
Excellent work. Just give me a second to analyze this data.
Hey, Captain, take a look at this. Incredible.
Incredible's right. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. It is, quite simply, the key to everything. The location, codes, and re-entry times for every Ark buried on Earth is right here.
Wow.
This data is nothing less than a second chance for civilization. Maybe our last chance. With this, we can strike at the heart of the Authority. We can use the codes in your ID drive to free all the Arks that the Authority has imprisoned beneath the Earth. For years, we've developed plans to get someone inside Capital Prime, into the heart of the monster. But we never had the capability to deliver a fatal blow. Until today. If there's a future, it begins with this. The war starts now. First thing is, we need access to the Eastern lands, and the only way to do that is by knocking out the Authority security bridge. See Portman. He's got a plan worked out for that.
Sounds great. Time to see Portman. Let's go ahead and save so I don't lose everything that I just did. And with that, we need to end the broadcast. Thanks for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings. Next week, I'll have an AC adapter for my camera, so we won't run out of battery, and you'll get a better picture next week. I'm looking forward to that. And never fear, I'm going to have another Fallout video for you this week. Don't know what it's going to be yet. I'll figure that out. Don't worry. And when Fallout 76 comes out, I hope that my streaming setup will be prepared for a lot of Fallout 76 streaming. So stay tuned for that. I have a new series in the works. I've got an animator working on an animated sequence right now. I've got a lot of the footage already shot. I'm going to shoot more footage later tonight for that series. It's going to be on one of the earlier Fallouts, so I'll just say that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, so look forward to that. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, remember we broadcast every Thursday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, so tune in next week, same Ox time, same Ox channel right here on my website. Thanks, YouTube. It's not my website, just my channel on YouTube. Thanks again for tuning in. You guys have a fantastic rest of the night and wonderful weekend, but I'll see you this weekend with some brand new videos. Take care.